This video is brought to you by Law Excellence IAS Academy.
Dear students, good morning. Let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, 9th April 2019. The first article, Open Up the Supreme Court. This article brings in certain questions with relation to Supreme Court and transparency in the working of collegium. Let me ask you a few questions straight. Right to information, is it a weapon for transparency? Or is it becoming a weapon to blackmail the public officials by various vested interests? So, transparency is good for the functioning of highest court in India and across the world. In the judicial appointments and working of the highest court, is transparency was given the upper hand or not? Let's see these questions through this article. Remember, across the world, the appointment of the judges, in the appointment of the judges, there is a role for executive. In India too, initially under Article 124, role for executive was created. According to 124, President of India shall appoint the CJI and other judges shall be appointed by the President of India in consultation with CJI. This word consultation, remember, this word consultation was reinterpreted in such a way that today judicial appointments in India are in the hands of judiciary rather than in the hands of the executive. Now to change this system, NJAC was brought in through constitutional amendment, 99th constitutional amendment. The Supreme Court has clearly stated that NJAC was unconstitutional as it is violating the judicial independence, which is basic structure of the constitution. At the same time, Supreme Court itself, I think Justice Keher, he clearly stated that the existing collegium system is unable to meet the standards of transparency and rules of procedure or procedure of appointment. They wanted to create through a consultative process and requested the union government to do the same. So one thing we are clear. So today in the judicial appointments, there is huge opaqueness. The functioning of collegium and communication among various judges who are part of the collegium, which consists of CJI plus 4 senior most judges in the case of appointment of Supreme Court judges, and CJI plus 2 senior most judges in the case of appointment of High Court judges, function in highly secretive environment. Now, so RTI across all the departments, executive, legislature, it is being promoted by the Supreme Court. And it has clearly stated that the people who are contesting for the elections also shall submit all their income, expenditure, criminal record, everything to the people. So to Election Commission, which will in turn be given to the people. So much is the Supreme Court emphasizing on transparency. So in this context, the issue is this. The Central Information Commission stated that Office of Chief Justice of India is also a public office and under section 2H of the RTI Act, it comes into the scrutiny. So it is a public office. So as it is a public office, it is expected to divulge the information which was asked to it by the citizens. And the matter was challenged before the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court reiterated the same statement. Now it is been appealed before the Supreme Court's and it has come before the Supreme Court Constitutional Bench. In this context, remember, across the world, either it is in South Africa, right to information itself is a constitutional right. Even in the United States, in Kenya, in most of the countries, appointment of judges is a very transparent process. In USA, a new judge who is going to be appointed by the President of India is subjected to the legislative scrutiny of Senate. If you go to South Africa, the entire interview process of Judicial Appointments Commission is being telecast live to the world. So, more the citizens understand the process of appointment and that brings in greater legitimacy and credibility to the institution. So, in this case, the author argues that India also shall move towards greater transparency in the appointment of judges. The next is Maldivian wave. So last year at this time, India-Maldives relations are at their nadir, at their lowest point. The reason is this. Amin government, it was not very friendly to India. So they tried to play between India and China. Finally, what it was led to, India, which was all-time friend to Maldives, was pushed to the periphery, and China was brought into the center. It finally led to a situation which is called as debt trap for China. Remember here, China is investing heavily among the neighbors of India, and this is creating a huge debt burden on those countries. So what Maldives did is it has given huge land, huge highlands for lease to China to develop various projects. Today, it was unable to come out of it, and it was unable to safely sit with China. And the new president, once he has come into power, Mr. Soli, he has reiterated relations with India. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, did not visit, the only country he did not visit in our neighborhood is Maldives. Only when Yamin lost the presidentship and Mr. Soli became the president, then the Prime Minister visited Maldives. To that extent, the relations got spoiled. If you go back in the past, during the Rajiv Gandhi era in 1988, certain military officials, along with the People Liberation Organization of Tamil Eelam, so these have plotted to oust then the President Abdullah Lutfi. And then India sent its navy, and this is what famously known as Operation Cactus, and was able to fight the coup. And the second, when tsunami occurred, when water crisis was there, India was the first country which stood for it. And added to that, India has given humanitarian assistance from time to time. Now the situation is Maldives is in debt trap, and it is a country which is going to be worst affected because of the climate change. So it cannot come out of the clutches of China unless it has money. So India is trying to provide $1.4 billion aid to Maldives. And India is not investing it in infrastructure projects which makes Maldives debt trapped. It is investing that in building the communities. So this is what the difference between the diplomacy of India and China. And Maldives is very much important because the 8-degree channel on which Maldives has the control is the most busiest marine route. And added to that, strategically also Maldives is very important country in Indian Ocean. And then the next article is playing politics over Golan Heights. Here we need to understand the history of this Palestinian and Israeli conflict. I will not go into depth, but I will give you the necessary background to understand this article. After the First World War, there was a declaration that is called Balfour Declaration, which was given by UK. Remember that this entire area, the Syria, etc., these were divided between the France and England. So the Palestinian region was under the control of the British. Then the Queen gave a Balfour Declaration, and under which the Jews will be given a nation in the Palestinian territory. So it means whatever the Israeli territory today is actually belongs to Palestinian. The second part is in 1967, Arab countries invaded Israel. Then Israel won the war and also occupied certain territories from them. One is Sinai Peninsula from Egypt. I think Gaza is also from Egypt. And West Bank is from Jordan. Golan Heights from Syria, like that. So the Golan Heights is actually a Syrian territory, and before it was under the French occupation. Later it has become part of Syrian territory. So it means the Golan Heights should never come under the Balfour Declaration. Why? It is never the part of the British Kingdom. And second aspect is today two nation theory, what it proposes is the Gaza which is occupied from Egypt, and then this West Bank which is occupied from Jordan, and East Jerusalem, these all together shall become the so-called as Palestine. It means the Palestine is not being created today under the two nation theory from its own original land. It is being created from the occupied territories from the Arab world. Even it was opposed by the Israel. So remember, in West Bank, Israel built a big wall, and the second, it also made huge settlements of the Jews in West Bank. So many people, the today what Mr. Netanyahu was declared is he is not going to disturb these settlements. And the second aspect is the Palestinians asked that So they have to come back to their homelands. The Jewish country believes that or feels that if Palestinians are allowed to come back to their homes, obviously Israel becomes unstable. So in this context, America has or is supporting Israel from very beginning. Now also in the Trump era, it has reached to the new heights. So what are the things we need to understand here? So joint comprehensive plan of action, it was with Iran, or it's famously called as Iran nuclear deal. Now Iran, it has Shia majority, and Iran is supporting the Lebanon and this Hamas in the case of Gaza. So these forces are against the Israel. So Israel is antagonistic to Iran. In West Asia, there are three poles. One is Iran, the next is Israel, third is Saudi Arabia. So Israel was very much opposed to the Iran nuclear deal, and it was scrapped by Mr. Trump. And the second is Israel was claiming sovereignty over East Jerusalem too. And President Trump has given its legitimacy by shifting its consulate to the East Jerusalem. And that way he has symbolically recognized Jerusalem as the territory of the Israel. The third thing recently what he stated is the Golan Heights of Syria, which is occupied from Syria, shall be the sovereign territory of Israel. So it means in Golan Heights you have both Syrian forces and Iran forces. You know, Lebanese forces are also strong presence close to Golan Heights. By declaring this, Mr. Trump has violated UN Security Council Resolution 497. So here, this unilateralism of United States government is going to make the things complex rather than they are being resolved. So what is the issue for India? Remember, India wants to balance three access points, that is Israel, Iran, and Saudi Arabia in West Asia. And the second thing is when the global order or international rule based order is dominated by an unilateralism of single power, it is not good for any country, including India. So, this Trump's action is not good for the global order. That is the take home point over here. And the next, fighting together. You need to understand Indian politics from two dimensions. One is caste, and the other is alliances, regional alliances. So, this caste is also a major factor which has framed the regional alliances. So, see here, initially, Congress dominated system was there. This was challenged by a socialistic order. So the socialistic order, Ram Manohar Lohia was on the forefront. Later it has come, Jay Prakash Narayan has come. So here, a new rung of leaders have come in the Hindi belt. Among them, Mulayam Singh Yadav, Lalu Prasad Yadav, these are very much prominent. And during the Congress era itself, Mr. Singh, that is Chaudhary Charan Singh, and he has become a friend of farmers. So, if you take UP politics, Rashtriya Lokdal has started taking up its niche as a friend of farmer, and other political fragments has come from the socialistic fraction. So now, slowly these are being transformed into OBC politics, caste-based parties. Either caste-based politics or OBC empowerment is also popularly called as Yadava empowerment. And the next is BSP as a party. It has originated from the rise of the middle class among the Dalits. So the employed middle class wanted to have a political power and empowerment of the marginalized sections that gave rise to BSP. So in this context, the BSP and other OBC factions they came head on head with each other. So then BSP went ahead and it started aligning with the upper caste to counter the power of the OBCs. So now this BSP, SP, that is OBCs and the Dalits are parties which are being represented have come together. Here the reason is the constant erosion of their voter base. Remember here, the BJP, along with its Hindutva strategy, it started isolating the non-Yadava OBCs from SP faction and non-Jatava fraction of Dalits from BSP fraction. So, in this context, consolidation of the opposition vote bank has become vital for their survival. So let us see how the people judge this particular coalition as. Next is crore-patis in parliament. Remember, democracy, when it becomes an expression of expenditure or expression of money spent in the elections, then the value of vote is being lost as a commodity. So here in India, Yogendra Yadav made one study. When there are two people contesting, their relative wealth also have determined their success. That clearly shows that more the money one has, greater the chances of winnability, more than 70% according to him. So, in Andhra Pradesh elections, if we see, almost all the MPs and MLAs, their incomes or their properties are more than 5 crores of rupees. So it shows the influence of the business people increasing in India. But why this has happened? We have to see this before liberalization and after liberalization. As the socialistic order started disintegrating, more and more the money or the business started entering into politics. Previously, the business and politics they worked in two different spheres in the mixed economy model. Later, as we are shifting more towards capitalism, what is happening? The business wants to have more power in their hands to ensure policy favors. As business is taking into politics, politics are taking into business. In mixed economy, there was synergy between them. After 1990s, the gap between them has come to a closure, and it has influenced the money power in Indian politics like never before. If you can believe, in Andhra Pradesh, every political party is spending around 75 to 100 crores for each assembly constituency. I'm not talking about the Lok Sabha constituency, assembly constituencies. To that extent, the elections have become complicated and costly. Finally, thank you very much and all the best.